This next session will be a special one, obviously because of its name, but it brings with us a speaker that has no equivalent. He wrote this book here, plus, and you will find the other part, and he wrote this book here, The 7-Minute Star, plus many more. He also works with more than 100 customers from all over the world, and he is actually also the person who created the first public speaking game called Rhetoric, which our team personally is still waiting for to arrive. Probably he will tell us why our game is still late and somewhere in Vienna. But let's hear it from him. Florian, welcome to the conference. We cannot hear you yet. Let's see whether or not we can hear you. Okay.
Last September.
Okay.
Last September, come with me to Leipzig. Leipzig, a beautiful town, 1.5 hours in the south of Berlin. And there I am giving a training last September in this old post office, Bauhaus, only concrete, big windows, in the basement, design offices, beautiful training place. And I'm with one of my favorite clients, it's for the Germans here, Bofrost, a frozen food company. Now, we were in the room, down there in the basement, beautiful, windows open, masks, COVID-style trainings, and there he is, Jens. Jens, 190 tall, short, dark, blonde hair, giving a philosophical talk. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. And then at one point, Jens says, I still can taste the strawberry lipstick of the girl I never kissed. Oh, a rhetorical orgasm. 11 years before. Come with me now to Berlin, the capital of Germany. I'm walking down the sunny Torstrasse in Berlin Mitte, where the hustle and bustle, life is pumping. And with my friend Sam, we're walking down the staircase into the metro station, the tube station called Rosenthaler Platz. German is beautiful. And my Sam, he cannot walk anymore. My friend Sam, so night. And we walk down the staircase. We're standing in that tube station. It smells like empty beer bottles. The train rushes in, yellow, graffiti, screaming wheels. I'm looking at the ticket machine. I'm looking at the ticket machine, and the ticket machine, yellow, says to me, €2.10. I grab into my pocket, and I pick out €1.27. My inner voice starts to scream. You see, Florian, loser, I told you. Nobody will ever give you money for this stupid European cultural festival you're working on. And why did you leave KPMG? The safe harbor. Why did you leave KPMG? I told you will never work. And look at you now. Now you're standing here in Berlin with €1.27. You cannot even buy a fucking subway ticket. Loser. 12 years later, we're here, you and I, at Present to Succeed. It's a great pleasure being with you, and I can tell you 12 years later, after 11,632 speeches, plus evaluations in groups of average size, 8, after 117 clients, after 33 industries, after 15 countries, after 3 languages, German, English, and Spanish, I can guarantee you one thing. Rhetorical orgasms are a rare good. Rhetorical orgasms are a rare good. Now, welcome to the session. And apparently rhetorical orgasm, Boris, is a metaphor. It's a hyperbole. It's an exaggeration. What does a rhetorical orgasm for me mean? A rhetorical orgasm for me is intellectual beauty aroused by rhetorical devices. And this session is all about the beauty of rhetorical devices. Content is king, but it's a fucking boring king. I can tell you. 11,632 speeches. How many times am I bored by stuff that comes out of the mouth of people? And then comes the strawberry lipstick. Oh! So before we enter in my session, 3 big benefits of rhetorical devices that you can apply in your story, in your speeches, in your presentations, before we enter the 3 big benefits. And each one of them harbors 2 rhetorical devices which can cause rhetorical orgasms. Let us start on the other side, the dark side, the evil side. Now, I know that I don't see your chat right now, but Boris, you promised me you will give me all the content that people will write now into the chat, and later I will work on it and I throw it back at you in LinkedIn and here in Present to Succeed. The first thing I want you to do in the chat, I want to spit out all the stuff on a content level, not delivery, not slides, only content. Stuff that turns you off, stuff that bores you to death, stuff that is an anti-climax. Give me everything in the chat right now, without music, with a delay in the chat, it doesn't matter. Spit it out, everything you don't like to hear. One of mine is good morning. When somebody starts with good morning, it's boring, and I know it already. It bores me to death before they start to speak. Write down in the chat everything that comes to your mind that you don't want to hear. Patterns, examples, models, anything you don't like. Meta talk, talking about the talk. Let me tell you a little story. Anticlimax. Oh, I don't have time, so I will shorten my presentation. Anticlimax. Write down everything in the chat right now. Boris, are they writing? Boris, are you listening?
You will be surprised how much they are writing.
That's amazing. Very cool, very cool. Okay, write a little bit more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop.
All right.
Now, all this I will work on and give it back to you after the event. This is all the stuff that bores me. And our speaking presentations are full of stuff. I always say you could cut out probably 80% of the stuff. So what is better than that? How can you arouse the audience? How can you spice up your stories, your speeches with rhetorical orgasms, with rhetorical devices? This is the session. The first benefit of rhetorical devices for you as speakers is you make your stuff more memorable, more memorable. Two examples. The Romans said, first the E, the Romans said, repetitio est mater studiorum. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Now, the E is one of my favorite rhetorical devices for repetition. It is called epistrophe. And Boris, no one ever buys my rhetorical device t-shirts, but I love them. So this is epistrophe. And epistrophe means originally return. Not like I have a dream that my 4 little children, I have a dream, which is the anaphora from Martin Luther King Jr. It's the opposite. You repeat at the end of the sentence, the clause, or the block. Now you just read, let them come to Berlin. My favorite example is JFK. Think about JFK, 1963. Sunny day, Schöneberg, Berlin. Few months before his assassination. There he gave his famous 2 lines. 2,000 years ago, the greatest boast was civis Romanus sum. Today, in the world of freedom, the greatest boast is ich bin ein Berliner. This is what people know, but the rhetorical orgasms, for me, start after that. He has 4 paragraphs, and they go like this, more or less. There are many people who say that the Soviets, blah, 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 let them come to Berlin. There are others who say, blah, 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 let them come to Berlin. Now the audience learned it. There are others who say, blah, 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 let them come to Berlin. Now, oh, rhetorical orgasm. And the fourth time he says it, 50,000 people freak out. You can apply epistrophe in your storytelling. Imagine you have some chapters in your speech, in your story. And at the end of each chapter you say, and you have seen nothing yet. The second time, and you have seen nothing yet. The third time, oh. Epistrophe, repetitio est mater studiorum. Use epistrophe to make it more memorable. The second one is the O. That's a funny one. Did you know, have you heard about oxymoron? Normally people know about oxymoron. That is one of the rhetoric devices people know. But did you know that oxy means sharp and moron, like, hey moron, idiot, means blunt. Blunt, dull, blunt. So oxymoron. Isn't that amazing? That's a rhetorical orgasm by itself, because the word itself is an oxymoron. Now, oxymoron is a paradox, a two-word paradox. Paradox like Oscar Wilde, I can resist anything except temptation. Paradox is also, I learned, memorable because it's contradictory. It's a contrast. Something is wrong. This is why we remember it. Now, I have one specific use for you all to use oxymoron in your storytelling. I have a storytelling coach. His name is Mark Brown. Meet Mark. Mark is a guy. He's now in 50s. He left Jamaica at the age of 18 and he moved to Atlanta in Georgia. For more than 4 decades, he's an American citizen. He left Jamaica with $40 in his left hand, a suitcase in his right hand, and a big dream in his heart. Mark Brown, those of you who are Toastmasters, I'm a fanatic Toastmaster for 15 and a half years, the biggest speakers club in the world. Mark Brown won in 1995 the World Championship in public speaking. He has this voice, big white teeth, dark, and a bow tie always. And he's my storytelling coach. And once he told me, 2 years ago, Florian, I read your script. There's one thing. Any character you introduce into your story, bring them to life. And why is it so important that you bring your characters to life? Because public speaking, the end game, is all about connection. And when you bring your characters to life, I can connect with them emotionally. I have more pathos, more emotional connection. Pathos, Aristotle, persuasive power goes up. So bring them to life. How do I do it? I rebranded NLP. Do you know NLP? Boris, do you know NLP? Boris, you're the only one I can talk to here. Are you listening, Boris? Sometimes I will say Boris to you. So Boris, if you're listening, do you know NLP, neuro-linguistic programming? Yep. I'm not a big fan, Boris, of NLP. So that's why I rebranded it. How do I bring my people to life? With name, with look, and personality. NLP. Name, look, personality. Like the short, dark, blonde hair, 190 big, tall, Jens in Leipzig before I bring them to life. Now I could have added personality. And this is where oxymoron can be very handy. I love to create, Boris, you know it. I love to create. I do infographics on LinkedIn almost on a daily basis. I wrote 5 books. I did a rhetoric game. Yes, I love to create. But I also love to stick to old stuff that works. I love my Aristotle. I cannot reinvent the wheel. I can repaint it. But I love what he did. So I'm a creative conservative. I'm a creative conservative. And this is my tip for you. Think about a friend that you have and give him an oxymoron, a contradictory personality thing. Kindly arrogant, happily divorced, creative conservative, because that is sticky. You bring your people to life with name, look, personality, add an oxymoron, sharp and blunt. The second category of rhetorical devices that can cause rhetorical orgasms. Not only memorable, you can make your content also more understandable. It's even a plus. Make your content more understandable. I was with KPMG. Do you know KPMG? Big Four, auditing, consulting. 8 years and 3 months with KPMG. Bullshit bingo all the time. Synergies. We have to create a win-win with the client. We haven't reached the critical mass. Have you ever seen a fucking critical mass? Oh, we create value for our clients. What the hell is value? Do you know what an abstract noun is? An abstract noun is a noun like respect. I cannot touch or see. So here, maybe 700 people, Boris. I don't know how many, but in this session right now, doesn't matter. If I say respect, we have 700 definitions. So how can I make my stuff more understandable? The first one is I use as a speaker a lot analogy. Analogy. An analogy means originally comparison. And if you compare two concepts like my life is like the Serengeti, that would be an analogy. You compare two big concepts. The special forms of analogy, as we know, are, of course, nothing new under the sun. Boris, nobody buys my t-shirts, but I love them. Metaphor, I am a lion. And simile, comparison, I'm like a lion or I'm bigger than a lion. And all these analogies, they make your stuff much more understandable. Why is Jesus Christ so powerful? Analogy. Mohammed, analogy. Buddha, analogy. It's so easy, but people hardly ever use it. Those of you who played Candy Crush, the puzzle game with the candies, I had 40 trainings with King.com, the Candy Crushers. And I remember Hugo Carr. Hugo, a mustache, funny, colorful, sneakers, tall guy, a data scientist at King.com in London. Hugo is from New Zealand. And, New Zealand is here, by the way. He's from New Zealand. And a data scientist. He's a quantum physicist. And he's on stage in the super cool London stylish office. There in the background, there's the drums and e-guitars, because that's what gamers do. They play bands. And he stands on the stage, Hugo Carr, and he says this. So what am I doing as a data scientist? Now imagine this complete room. This is a big room, 20 meters long, 10 meters wide. Imagine this entire room full of ping pong balls. Everywhere ping pong balls. Everywhere ping pong balls. Hundreds, thousands, millions of ping pong balls, all white. White ping pong balls in the entire room. And we all saw ping pong balls, I can tell you. And then he says, there's one red ball. I find that ball. I understood data science with a simple analogy. My favorite analogy is that I created, you know, Ryanair. Flying with Ryanair is like being completely wasted. The next day you always say, it was the last time. That's my favorite one. Now, a tip for all of you, I always use an analogy map to create great analogies. Now, what you can do at home on a sheet of paper, by the way, an online presentation sheet of paper is your new flip chart. Now, imagine you put in the center your passion. In my case, football. I put football here. And then in the second step, I look for everything I need for football. the referee, the field, the rules, the strikers, the midfield, the defense, the goalkeeper, the penalty, the sidekick, the throw in, everything, the fall, the coach, the referee, everything. And then in the third step, you go you're building bridges of analogy to your business, to your startup, to your department, to your product, whatever you are. And you will always find it. Like, for instance, here, strikers could be the sales team. Strikers, sales team. And then in your presentations, once in a while, you can say, but you know what we do really here? This is football, guys. This is football. And then you talk in analogy. And everyone understands what you're saying. It's simplification. The E, the second one to make it more understandable, brings us right to my mom. My mom is 89. She lives in northern Bavaria. She's 89, and every day at 1, Boris, today we already had our FaceTime, because every day at 1 we have a FaceTime and we have a beer together. Super, super important. It took me 3 weeks of my life to get this iPad running with my mom. That was horrible. But now it works every day at 1. Now my mom, when she talks about the COVID, says, I survived the Second World War. That's my mom. Meet my mom. She's a cool lady. She was a teacher for many years, and she always wanted to say, my son, the doctor. My son, the PhD. 89 will be tight. But if I do a PhD, my friends, in the future, I know my subject. I've been working for 10 years for IESE as a guest professor, IESE Business School, one of the top 3 business schools in Europe. If I write my PhD, I have my subject. Why do people don't give specific examples? Think about it. Why do people don't give specific examples? They say, oh, I have many friends, generic. I traveled to many countries, generic. I had a normal childhood, generic. Generic sucks, specific rocks. Specific beats generic. And specific is exactly what exemplum. Boris, nobody buys my t-shirts. I couldn't care less. This is exactly what exemplum is all about. Exemplum Latin is a model, a pattern, a copy. It is an anecdote or a story. This is the storytelling track, or a story to make a moral point. To make a point, you need exemplum. Generic doesn't make points. It was in Berlin 8 years ago. Again, Berlin. I'm often in Berlin. Berlin is a cool city. I'm in Berlin. The lady, long hair like an angel, 180 tall, German, introverted, timid lady, didn't say a word the entire morning. It's her time, first speech in the training. She stands up, puts herself in front of us. First sentence. I had a normal childhood. I squeezed beetles. Oh, well, that was a weird rhetorical orgasm. These beetles I don't get out of my head for the last 8 years. They are memorable. Example is memorable and understandable. I understand her childhood with one sentence because it's specific. And here's my favorite example of 11 years and 8 months of trainings. Come with me to the Dutch border in the north of Düsseldorf in Germany. It's again the Bofrost company, the strawberry lipstick of the girl he never kissed, Jens. Same company, Bofrost. I'm in their headquarters. There is Farid Amawe from Morocco. He has this radio voice. He's the teddy bear with the big heart. He's a system administrator. And he has the grayish hair combed back like Robert De Niro. Farid gives his speech about, the topic was, how do I motivate my colleagues? How do I motivate my colleagues? That was the subject. Farid Amauer stands up. I do a shortened version. And he says this. Well, my friends, I think we can do 3 things to motivate our colleagues more. The first thing we all can do is we can create a we feeling, a team spirit. I played football for more than 20 years in a club. Those of you, have you played volleyball, basketball, football, any team sports? Those of you who have done team sports, you know exactly that is motivating. But it is generic. It goes in, out, adios, and it doesn't say a thing. What is a team? He continues. And then, of course, second, we can definitely, public acknowledgement. We can acknowledge the good work of our colleagues much more often in these meetings where we are. Public acknowledgement. Now, money is nothing for motivation. Public acknowledgement is the number 1. I know it. But it is generic. It goes in, out, adios, amigo. And then Farid Amauer says the immortal words. I wrote 2 chapters and books about it. I used 2 blog posts, 1 video blog. It's super cool. He says, do you know what, my friends? Sometimes it's the little things that motivate me the most. In my office, there's a table. And next to the table, there's a flower pot. And in that flower pot, there's a tiny red water level indicator that indicates the level of the water in my flower pot. Every Monday morning, I come to my office, I put the bag on the table, I pick up some water at the sink, I walk over to my flower pot, and I water my plants. Last Monday morning, like every Monday morning, I come to my office, put the bag on the table, pick up some water at the sink, walk over to my flowers, and just when I'm about to water my plants, I see that the tiny red water level indicator is on top. That means that Thomas, my colleague, has watered my plants. That motivated me. Oh, rhetorical orgasm. Where is your tiny red water level indicator when you speak? Where are specific examples to make a point? Where are they? And this little red water indicator, level indicator, brings me to my newest, Boris, I haven't shared this with anyone publicly. This is my newest thing. I wrote 1 LinkedIn article about it, but never shared it publicly. It's a very new concept. And yes, you can say everything has been developed by him. Rhetoric, the book, the treatise on papyrus, it's all there. But this is kind of new. What happened? Last December, I'm in online with Roche, the farmer giant. Roche, a seminar, 8 people online in Zoom. And there's Rodrigo. Rodrigo, steel green eyes, 45 years old, dark black hair, super Brazilian. And he grew up in the favelas, in the poor area of Sao Paulo. Now, at home, there were 6 siblings, and the fridge was always empty. At school, all the children had food, not Rodrigo. And there was this one boy, and he always had Petit Suisse. For the Germans here, Fruchtzwerge. German is beautiful. Petit Suisse, Danone. And he was always jealous because the boy had Petit Suisse. Life continues. He's 12, 13 years old. Steel green eyes. He was the target by a bully in the favelas in Sao Paulo. And at one point he said, Rodrigo said that was his abyss that was the height of his abyss, the deepest point of his life. This bully put him in a trash bin and he cried. He said he felt like a homeless dog. And in that trash bin, empty Petit Suisse. When he received his first paycheck and the first apartment was empty, fridge was empty, he filled up the entire fridge with Petit Suisse. And I'm like, guys, this is a pattern. This is a pattern. We need a name for that. That's a pattern. My €1.27 in Berlin, Rosenthaler Platz. The tiny red water level indicator. The petit Swiss. It's a pattern. An object in your life, an object in your life that has a higher symbolic meaning. €1.27 in my life, I had to change. It's the change, one broken dream, a new dream begins. It's a symbolic value. The tiny red water level indicator, that is motivation, because people help each other. Rodrigo, Brazil, the petit Swiss, perseverance. We need a name for that, I said. And then, do you remember ZZ Top? ZZ Top, the band? His name is Jordi. He's a bald head and ZZ Top beard, the risk manager at Global IT in Roche. And he says, Florian, this is an 8-ball. An 8-ball. An object that symbolizes winning or losing. And ever since, in my trainings, in my speeches with people, when I coach them, I'm looking for 8 balls. Now in your life, there are 8 balls. Dig them out, spot them, objects with a higher symbolic meaning, and put them into your storytelling. This is rhetorical gold. This is a rhetorical orgasm guaranteed. Exemplum, specific, generic sucks, specific rocks. Which brings us to the last category, the 2 Ps. You can even be more convincing, more persuasive, more convincing with rhetorical devices. How? Think about 8 Mile. Have you seen 8 Mile? Eminem. Boris, have you seen 8 Mile? Boris, have you seen 8 Mile?
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yes,
Yeah,
I
of
have
course.
seen it. Well, wait a minute. It takes a little bit of time to unmute. Here, it's not that fast. I have seen it multiple times. Let's move on.
all of you have seen 8 Mile. Park it.
All right.
It took me 3 weeks, my friends. 3 weeks to learn this word, Procatalepsis, by heart. It took me 3 weeks. 5 syllables in Greek. It's impossible. Procatalepsis is the first one to be more convincing. Procatalepsis means premonition. Premonition. You know already an opposing opinion in the audience. You know it. You address it openly. You give a counter argument, and opposition is dead. What does Antony say in Julius Caesar by Shakespeare? Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I'm here to bury Caesar, not to praise him. Procatalepsis. Wowereit, ex-mayor of Berlin. Berlin is pretty present in my presentation here today, Boris. I'm realizing it. I live in Barcelona. Well, Wowereit was the mayor for 13 years in Berlin. And in the mid-2000s, he became mayor. And before he became mayor, at his Socialist Party day, there were rumors where they had to elect him. So it was really a lot on stake here. And there were rumors that Klaus Wowereit, was always seen in tight leather black pants at very late hours at very spooky places in Berlin. And you know what the press does with you when that happens. So he stands up, it's the title of his autobiography, and at one point he says, I am gay and this is good. Oh. Procatalepsis. What you can do as a tip, I do that when I coach people. Write down, when you imagine you're pitching for funding, write down a list of all the possible arguments against you from an investor. Write it all down. What can the audience have against you? Write it all down, turn it around, put it in your speech, in your presentation, Procatalepsis, and you kill the opposition. What does Eminem do, Boris, don't answer. It's one of those questions you don't have to answer. What does Eminem do at the end against Papa Doug? Yes, I am white trash. Yes, my mom is a slut. Yes, my friend fucked my girlfriend. But what about you? Boom. There was nothing to say. And this is Procatalepsis. The last P is my absolute favorite rhetorical device, which I've been wearing all the time. This is my #1 rhetorical orgasm, and I love it so much. Paralipsis. Paralipsis means to leave away, to omit, to not say it. Now here in the slide track, Boris, I've seen cool slide decks and presentations, simplicity, less is more, super cool stuff. But in reality, in the real life, I receive sometimes one slide with 5 KPIs, key performance indicators, on one slide, and it's death by PowerPoint. I mean, you guys, Boris, you will make 5 slides out of these 5 KPIs. I know that. A screen slide doesn't cost money. Don't have to put everything on one. Yeah. But that is when Paralipsis comes handy. 2 benefits of Paralipsis. First one is you can say stuff like, today we could talk about all the 5 important KPIs of the last quarter. I could enter in our conversion rate KPIs 1 in our app, which has improved by 27%. An amazing success. Today I will not focus on that. I could also share with you KPI 2, which is the market penetration in Bulgaria. We will not do that today because it's on a good track. What I want to focus on today is the 3 main KPIs of the last quarter. You realize? You say it without saying it. You don't overkill the audience with content, but you said it. Your content is there. That's beautiful. But for me, even more important is I'm a bit edgy as a speaker. You might have realized by my title. Political correctness, the whole thing, yeah, it's not always my turf. So what can I do? If I want to say something which is not politically so correct in nowadays world, I can use Paralipsis. Example? It's obvious that I cannot quote Bill Cosby any longer. It's absolutely impossible to quote Bill Cosby anymore. If I could quote him still, I would say what he said. He said, I don't know a safe key to success, but I know a safe key to failure. To please them all. But I cannot quote Bill Cosby anymore. Second example. If I were an American, my friends, now would be the moment to sell you my product, Rhetoric, the public speaking game. I would have to tell you that this is an amazing board game, and of course it's an amazing board game because it's the only amazing board game for public speaking in the world, co-created with John Zimmer, another amazing speaker, 9 years ago already. And I would have to tell you that this is an amazing game with 4 speaking challenges and available as an Android and iOS. Even in 6 languages, you can even speak it in Russian. And this here, I would have to tell us, if I were an American, this turquoise field here, the challenge field, is the bitch. You pick up cards like, describe your day in words and dance. That is a comfort zone Armageddon. I would have to tell you all this, but I can't, because I'm not American. Oh. Rhetorical orgasm. Paralipsis is my absolute super favorite rhetorical device. I use it constantly and all the time. You say stuff without saying it. You can say a lot without killing the audience. You can say stuff you're not supposed to say, like Cicero, I will not mention the pain, Claudio, you caused in me. You see, Paralipsis is the epitome of rhetorical orgasm for me. Here you have it. You can spice up your audience pleasure with 3 categories because rhetorical devices make your content, your speech, your presentations more memorable. They can make your stuff more memorable with repetition and contrast. You can make your stuff more understandable. Abstract nouns, more useless than an ashtray on a motorbike. Give me analogies and examples to make your point clear. Think about squeeze beetles. That's it. And the last one is you can even use rhetorical devices to make it more convincing. Like Procatalepsis took me 3 weeks of my life, and Paralipsis. Now with these only six, I have 50 rhetorical devices in my head. But these 6, if you apply them, you will gain so much. But you will not. You will only do one step. You know that as speakers, speaking fans. So what is my tip for you now after this session? My concrete first step that you all can take. I strongly suggest that you think about one friend in your life. One friend, and give that friend the personality in form of an oxymoron. And you will see that's the first step to go deeper into rhetorical devices. Go deeper. It's our DNA in content. If you don't know about rhetorical devices, you will end up speaking like the stuff you put in the chat at the beginning. But I want to feel rhetorical orgasms when I'm sitting in the audience. I want audience pleasure. So do it by applying rhetorical devices. It's been a great pleasure looking into that black hole, Boris. Back to you, and I'm happy to answer any question you have.
All right, so I have never ever seen in my life so many comments in one session. I think you have a lot of work to do when you exit this call and then go back to the Hopin platform. You will be stunned, shocked, and amazed at the same time how many people are now definitely wanting to buy your t-shirts and many more things that you were constantly pointing to. Plus, there were some people that were analyzing your talk, so that would be very, very interesting for you to take a look at. Anyway, give us just in the last 2 minutes the story of the t-shirts. What happened there? Like, how did you come up with, why t-shirts? Like, why is it that medium that you're using to push that message about rhetorical devices?
I read once, I don't think there is a quote giver. I read, it's more like a proverb, Boris. It says, an idealist is someone who doesn't know where he's going, but he's on his way. Sometimes I just start to produce stuff and I have really no idea where this is going. Kind of the same thing happened with the rhetoric game. I just put it in PowerPoint, planned, because there was no public speaking board game. I checked it. I thought there is a Metallica Monopoly game. There's a Star Wars Monopoly. Why is there no rhetoric Monopoly? There was none, so I started to put it in PowerPoint. The t-shirts, I have a personal brand for the last 3 years with the letter, with the colors, with the symbols, and I love rhetorical devices. So I put phrases together and I thought, hey, wait a minute. T-shirts, I can use them in all my videos. It's like the turtleneck of Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
It's a brand thing because it's a recognition thing. It's intellectual. I love intellectual beauty, as you know. And now it's 20 or 21 of them. And I really wear them now all the time.
I mean, there are no questions, only comments, and very interesting comments, I would say. So enjoy reading them. Let me just say it this way. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you as part of the comments in the upcoming few sessions.